Sup, my Deviant art mofos? This is Sir James Alvarez. Um, I'm doing this because I'm really pepped up right now, and this is the sexiest I felt in the last few days. I know it's a random comment, but I don't care to explain. Yeah, I apologize for the shitty light job, but it's the best I could pull off on short notice. I actually had to move a lamp from the other side of the room to this. It's actually sitting on my scanner. Look. See? Look at that. It's right on top of my scanner. It used to be all the way over there in the back. You can't even see it, it's so dark. This camera picks up no light whatsoever. You have to have light right on top of me, so, sorry. But, yeah, but without it, you wouldn't see even the profile of my face. You would see blackness with the light behind me. That's about it. Yeah, so I'm doing this because I wanted to explain my story Darkwing furthermore, and I was originally going to do a journal, but I decided it would be way too long and I don't have the energy to type that out, but I have the energy to talk about it. Trust me, my vocal cords have enough strength to last hours, and I'm very talkative. So I decided to do this little podcast, and now I'm looking back, I'm kind of liking the slide profile, and I kind of like it. It's cool. Anyway, by the way, if you didn't know already, I have attention deficit disorder, so if this video kind of bounces around and there's a lot of I say random things, well, that coupled with the fact I'm a very weird person, that's one reason. So let me begin. The original concept for Darkwing, I came up with it in 7th grade after I had started writing my first manga ever called Golden Fighter, which was based off Dragon Ball Z. It was basically a story about a kid. And if you don't know this, in every story I have, there's a character based off me who either looks like me, has a name similar to me, or some similar fashion. The only story that does not have that, in fact, is Darkwing. You could say Jason is based off me because he has black hair, but that's about the only attribute. He's a very different character than me. He's a very organic character. He's the most organic character I think I've ever invented. That he's not really based off anything. He's my own original concept. But anyway, so Golden Fighter was a story I came up with, which is about a kid who gets a genie and he wishes he was a Super Saiyan. And it just explodes from there, wishes his friends are Super Saiyans, and there were whole stories. It actually was not a bad manga, it's just that it had so many plot holes and so many things wrong with it, and so many, not plot holes, but just like, it was just badly written. It was like, just, it wasn't very well structured, and I would say that. It was not structured very well, but it had some interesting ideas I came up with. It was very brainstorming crash course in manga writing. And writing in general for me, it's what I had to do. Had to make all my mistakes to figure out what it takes to be a good writer, how to write a good story. So, after I basically finished writing that, doing stretching so long and doing Super Saiyan 5, and I was really proud of Super Saiyan 5. I had come up and then doing Super Saiyan 6 and all these different concepts. Even before I finished writing it, I started writing the story Darkwing, which was, I don't remember how I come up with it, but it was after I had started getting into Hellboy and Hellsing, which are the two main influences of the story. I remember the Hellboy movie was big. When I first saw it, that's when I really started to write more, and it was a big impact on me. And basically, the story Darkwing, the first thing I ever came up with was the Katrina Jason fight scene. That's what started the story. I had this idea of these two people fighting in the rain, and it was just this epic, I'm adjusting the camera, sorry. It was just this epic, grandiose story of just battle and beatdowns and anger. It was just this intense fight. I was really pushing myself mentally how to make this fight different than any, because most Dragon Ball Z fights towards the end of the series they were going so fast. It's just and I got tired of that. I wanted more emphasis of what's going on. I want detail and swift. You see every action basically instead of just And I understand that. It makes it more realistic of Dragon Ball Z to do that because they are going that fucking fast. But it also kind of registered to me as a cheat because it was just. I mean, you repeat the same animation over and over again. It was you know, so that was the thing. So it was just so basically I came up with that scene, and then I started to invent the story, and a lot of the elements from the original story are still in here, except for one major change, which was originally in the story, Katrina. Oh wait a minute, I haven't revealed that part about the story yet, at least not to a few select people. Well, anyway, I'll seek that because I want to keep it a secret until I finish writing at least that part of the chapter and post it. But the other part that's a big change is that originally in the story there was a huge Antichrist plot, and I had kept that in for a long time because it was a huge part of the story. I mean, it was literally like half the story, this Antichrist plot. And before I finished writing Darkwing, I'm still not done writing it really. I'm always making changes to it, always adding characters and amending because I really want it to be a grandiose story. Before I finish writing, or at least laying down a lot more of the ground rules, I started writing a story called Unlucky Sunday, which I mildly mentioned on my gallery. I have one pickup of the main character, Luke Michaels, and I've mentioned it to a few people. It's basically my story of the Antichrist. And originally I was going to have that story and then have my Darkwing, which had this evil Antichrist. And I thought about it a long time because I felt like I was conflicting myself, because a lot of times when I write a story, it's often based on just an idea I have, but then I install my beliefs, my plots, and kind of how I feel about some things into the story. And Unlucky Sunday is really how I felt about that kind of subject. Or it's not how I subject, but how I interpreted it. At least, you know, not how I really interpret the Antichrist. I think the Antichrist is going to be the Antichrist, if there's an Antichrist. But, you know, just my creative slant on that story. And I thought I'd be conflicting with myself if I did that type of Antichrist, which was more complex, more round, and then go and do this blah 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 evil Antichrist in my other story, and just say, oh, like different universes. So I just took this giant chunk out of Darkwing, and I had to fill in the hole. And that's basically what I've been doing, and that's when I installed a lot more characters, when I started to reach this. And that's when I took some inspiration from G Gundam. And G Gundam is, I don't care what anyone says, it's my favorite Gundam. Everyone argues with me that it's not as good as Gundam Wing, or, you know, the original Gundam, or this Gundam Seed. Okay, fuck you. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to every ounce of your opinion if that's your personal belief. But do not go off telling me how bad G Gundam is, because G Gundam is freaking awesome. So, that's my opinion. Fuck you. Alright. Sorry if I offended anyone. Wait, no, I'm not. I apologize. By the way, if you don't know the difference between apologize and sorry, you can be sorry for something, and you can apologize for something. I'm not sorry I said fuck you to some people, but I apologize to anyone I offend, because I do not want to offend people. There. It's different. If you want a further explanation, ask me later. Anyway, enough of the dictionary.